Hey, here we go with X's and O's on the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Radio Network and Vikings.com, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. And I'm Paul Allen, joined by Kevin O'Connell, Minnesota Vikings head coach weekly. And after Chicago, it's going to be 15 of these things, including the preseason, 15 games, including the preseason, and that's a lot. Players have to be, well, have to be would be strong, but I would imagine mentally and physically a little worn out at this stage of the equation. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, no matter what you try to do, PA, to take care of them week in and week out, you know, wanting to try to get them to the games feeling as fresh as possible while still preparing each and every week for what's to come. You have a late bye like this, you're working your way up towards that, especially since we had the Thursday game, you know, as early as we did. Yeah. We knew this was going to be the grind of the season, and we did experience some injuries throughout this stretch that we've had to overcome, asking guys to do a little bit more, prepare a little bit more. So it's definitely been a grind of a season, one of which I'm really proud of the way our team has attacked, and we're ready to, you know, have another NFC North challenge at home at US Bank for the first time this year, and then ultimately away we go down the home stretch once we come back off a well-needed bye. And
you know, I want to put coaches into this mix too, because I'm not talking about mentally fatigued. I'm sure that that's there, but you know, that's the job everybody has chosen. It's the sharing, it's the collaboration. And, you know, last year we were sitting in the spot and you're going through red zone offense on fire and you're going through the whole thing. And then you're like, oh yeah, tight ends coach Brian Angelico settles. I'm like, whoa, hey, you know, it's like everybody involved defensively too, with like all the work Pettin does and stuff like that. You guys are just really good at sharing and delegating. That would have to be important, right?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody is about tired of talking to me as much as they have to throughout the different phases of our game plan. A well-needed break from that might be just what the doctor ordered, but I'd like to say that they don't feel like that, because I certainly don't feel like that about our staff, but I'm sure if you put them on a lie detector test, they wouldn't mind a few days away from me.
Now, it didn't work out for any touchdowns in that Denver game, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Jordan Addison had some juice. Holy cow, when I watched that thing back, he didn't get a fair amount of them, but man, he's spry, fresh. I mean, Jordan really came to play, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and it's, you know, it's pretty rare for a rookie receiver to get the match treatment that he did from their best player at the corner position, following him around all night. And you know, he showed up multiple times. We tried to get him down the field a couple times from the slot, and then made some big plays there, you know, on third down, a nice play pass off of a, you know, fly motion that he had on the right side there. We're going to continue to try to get Jordan going. He's established himself as a major part of our offense, not just with Justin out. This is something that's going to be a norm around here for a long time, hopefully when we do get Justin back, both those guys working together. But haven't really seen that rookie wall hit Jordan Addison. He just keeps showing up every single day, ready to work, and love having him here.
And Ty Chandler is, I mean, you've known this, you've been his biggest fans really since he got here, but Ty Chandler is so naturally gifted, obviously so fast, got that nice little slide to him too when he gets out in open space. The finer points, that's what I would imagine the next step would be with him, picking up the blitz, pass protection, the whole thing.
It's just the consistency of the other facets. Everybody can just see how explosive the player is with the ball in his hands. I love Ty. There's a reason why, you know, Kwesi and I were high-fiving when we were able to get him in the draft. He's going to be a huge part of our team. He is right now, that explosiveness. It's just the every down nature for still a second-year player. As much as we want him kind of to ascend, we also want to make sure that he's able to handle every single snap, and it's not just one snap of picking up the blitz like he did on a big completion early on in the game. It's the second time when they're able to get a little penetration and hit Josh's arm. And listen, blitz pickup at this level with the type of people you're blocking, there's just nothing that can really substitute experience when it comes to that. But as far as with the ball in his hands, catching the football, there's a reason why we have him in on a lot of plays. We're tagging him in on things, and his role will continue to grow throughout the rest of this season, starting with this week. I'm just excited about Ty Chandler. and all that he brings to our offense.
And in fairness to Ty, he had a wonderful blitz pickup early in the game.
He did.
So, yeah, that's not like, you just can't do it, but I mean, it's the maturation and the details that lead to stardom. Have referees or officials ever come up to you later in the season and been like, come here, my bad in the Denver game, man, my bad in the whatever game, I missed that, and just like apologize low key?
No, they don't. Never has happened, and I'm not exactly looking forward to that happening anytime soon. I think however many games I've been the coach of this team, maybe 29 games,
yeah.
I'll let you know the first time that happens. But listen, they have you call the games and do a great job doing that, but you know how fast everything's happening down there. The only thing that I ask for is just consistency.
Yep.
And when there is a play or two that maybe we disagree on, I do like to have dialogue so I can just learn what they saw, how they saw it, maybe how I can coach something differently. There's been some times where the dialogue really doesn't match up with kind of the week after or kind of the aftermath of, hey, we might have missed that one, or we might slap a suspension on this player, or whatever it's been. And those are just part of the game, PA, but you would like it to be as just consistent as possible based upon how we've all been led to interpret the rules. And that's how we get fairness each and every week and make it about the players on the field. And that's all that our intentions are ever from a coaching staff on either side of the field. And all well knowing that they have a very, very tough job to do. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind hearing hey, we missed that one every now and then.
Now, when you watch back this game with Josh Dobbs, I mean, this was the newest, biggest professional moment of his career. They just continue to stack. What'd you mostly think, just like overall Josh's game?
Yeah, I thought once again clearly showed his athleticism to make some plays and extend some plays. I think the biggest thing is we're continuing to grow his complete understanding and comfort in the rhythm and timing of our drop back pass game, what that looks like when your feet and eyes are tied together. It can be a great tool and a great benefit for the quarterbacks in our system, but it's something that does take a level of mastery to really make it go so that the balls are thrown and caught accurately. We maximize chances for yards after catch, and even those 5, 6, 7 yard completions to TJ out in the flat, if we can get those out in front, get those accurately thrown on the proper rhythm, instead of being in a 2-minute drive where you're eventually going backwards, you got a chance to keep on going forwards and having a chance for Greg Joseph to kick a field goal. I still think that, I've got to do as good of a job as I possibly can, making sure that he's comfortable with what we're calling. And then Josh has just got to hold up his end of the bargain and limit the turnover-worthy plays, both with the ball in his hands and also, when he does put the ball in play over the middle, making sure, I know he's got a ton of confidence in the guys he's throwing to, but just continuing to be smart, understanding he is running the whole show. We have a lot of confidence in him, and it'll continue to grow and grow as his opportunities continue.
So during the downtime, during the bye week, which is after the Bears game, do you have less freedom? And you probably think I'm joking around here, but I'm not. I mean, it's like you have so much new and some time where, okay, you don't have to. You can see the forest for the trees, so to speak, into the Vegas game out of the bye to tinker with things because so much is new.
Yeah, I think so much of it at this time, with so much significant work up until this point, I'll spend a lot of time looking at self-scouting, play calls. What am I calling in certain areas? What am I not seeing as a tendency that I know that defensive coordinators are seeing? I view that as time to really take a step back and reflect on, what I can do better. What am I coaching? What are we detailing up? And then ultimately, what are some of those little tweaks? And how are we tinkering with some of the things we've not only put on tape, but maybe the next layer that we can build in with a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
But I think for Josh, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind for him, thinking about Cleveland to Arizona to here, and he's our starting quarterback now. I'll definitely want him to take a deep breath, reflect himself on, maybe finding himself a place to live, maybe finding, getting around town a little bit and seeing the beautiful parts of the Twin City, getting some great food, whatever it is. but just take a breather knowing that when we hit the gas for the home stretch, we're planning on playing a lot of football down the stretch.
And eventually Justin Jefferson's going to return, and he's going to be playing with Dobbs for the first time. Yep. So you're going to have some off time here after the Bears game, kind of tinker with that a little bit with a quarterback who legitimately is good running.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay, well, you know, if you're thinking about formulating some version of the wishbone offense because Josh can run, I mean, how's that going to impact Justin?
Yeah, I don't know if, well, Justin's a Minnesota Viking, which will be more than likely a heck of a lot longer than I'm a Minnesota Viking.
Stop that.
We will not be running very much wishbone.
Right.
But I will say that the way Josh is able to handle things, both from his athleticism and his understanding of just football, the conversations we're able to have about the game and what we're attempting to do, what we're trying to take advantage of, just next level stuff. And I think JJ is just excited to be back in the huddle with his guys competing. Have very rarely come across such a competitor, either as a player or coach, as Justin Jefferson. I mean, this guy lives for it. He breathes it. It's everything he wants. And anytime you inject the best receiver in football back into an offense that has consistently moved the ball, even in his absence, we're excited for that moment when that happens.
How often do you see what's known as a double-double? Like with Jefferson and whomever.
Yeah.
And why I bring it up is because, like, when Thielen and Diggs were together here, there would be multiple games you would get the double-double. And why I bring it up is, like, being a fan, an outsider, well, we think, the way Josh can break the pocket with the way you scheme things, and here's Justin, and here's Jordan, and here's TJ. Like, does that lead to double-double, or do you start looking down the road on that?
Well, the beauty, and we have had some, I think about Buffalo, down in the red zone last year, unless teams are able to play with 12 players, which I shouldn't say they're not allowed to because it's happened before. But unless they're able to play with 12, it's hard to have a double on Justin, a double on Addison, a double on TJ, and a spy for Josh. There's just not enough, mathematically speaking, and I'm no astrophysicist or whatever he is. There's just not enough human beings on the field legally to be able to do that. So you're exactly right. How are people going to deploy their coverages to be able to try to limit our ability to not only just convert on third downs, not only just be explosive in the play-pass game, but all while doing it with a mindset of still having to stop the run, worry about our screens, worry about our movement game, worry about all the things that we can bring to the table. And our job is just to continue to coach clarity, details, fundamentals to the players, and then letting them bring it to life. It's the best part of being a coach.
Now, off the Denver game, just to get this out of the system, it was a -3, and it was the difference in the game with the take gives. And teams that are -3 over the last since 2000 win 9% of the time. They lose by an average of 13 points per game. But during all of it, your defense went to bending, but didn't break. And then break's a strong word. They got a touchdown at the end of the game. But I mean, just in watching that thing back, with the gives, and then they get close, kind of like Lorenzo Carter and Atlanta, and then the kicker goes back, and Jaron Hall at Green Bay with Preston Smith, and then they're 4 and out. So I mean, the defense it's come up big so many times this season for you.
Yeah, they really have, and you can't say enough about their willingness to go on the field and respond. That's part of the game. When you do, as an offense, you'd love to drive down the field and score every time. At the bare minimum, at least over the last 29 games I've had the ability to be the coach here, when we just break even, we do pretty well as a football team, really, regardless of where we play, who we play. It's a winning and losing stat for every team in football, but because of how we try to play complementary football, because of our games tend to be close, week in and week out. That's what this league really is. Those plays are critical, especially when you're either backed up, like you referenced with the Green Bay game, or when we had the tip ball pick against the Broncos. But it's even more catastrophic sometimes when you're in the scoring zone. Some of those early season, in 1 yard line, reaching the ball for the pylon, or a tip ball in the opener, or whatever it was. I think back to the other night, plus 34-yard line, going in up 8 at that point. Even if we just come away with 3 right there and not let that table flip to go in their direction, those are winning and losing plays, and our players know that. They own that. We own that as coaches, and how are we doing the things that we need to do to make sure those things don't happen. And it's football. Things will happen from time to time, but we need to make sure we're controlling what we can in regards to giving the football away to the other team, and that's the #1 priority.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too. Happy
I really enjoy working with you. Thank you very much.
Very much so.
Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm Paul Allen. Assistant offensive line coach Justin Riscotti joins us next on X's and O's on the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Radio Network and Vikings.com.